Sometimes it feels like everything has stopped. Jobs aren't growing. Prices are sky high. Inventions have become rare. It feels like the world is just surviving on less now. Less hope, fewer resources, fewer chances. I used to feel the same. I used to think, how can anything new happen when everything has already been created? Where's the room left for growth? Then one day, I read Abundance by Ezra Klein and Derek Thompson. And honestly, that book completely changed my perspective. It taught me the problem isn't lack of resources, it's lack of imagination. We make decisions out of fear of scarcity, while an abundance mindset opens up possibilities. When society thinks in terms of shortage, it restricts itself. When society thinks in terms of growth, it creates. The book showed that true innovation happens when people stop thinking there isn't enough and start thinking, why don't we create it ourselves? Now I understand. The world doesn't lack ideas. It just needs the courage to bring them forward. So if you ever feel like everything's over, remember, abundance begins right where the mindset of scarcity ends. Imagine a morning like this. The air is cool. Sunlight gently fills the room. Rahul stands in his room. The AC is running, the laptop is open, and the coffee machine hums softly. The electricity bill, almost zero. Because solar panels cover his roof, wind turbines spin nearby, and a nuclear plant outside the city sends clean, affordable power to his home. Rahul turns on the tap, and sweet, clean water flows out. It came from the sea. Desalination plants made it drinkable. No rivers need to be drained, and no village suffers from thirst. In his fridge, fresh fruits and vegetables sit neatly, not from fields, but from vertical farms inside tall buildings, powered by LED lights. And the meat, it's grown in labs now, without harming a single animal. Outside, a drone flies through the sky, not delivering parcels, but medicines. Medicines that slow aging, control obesity, and reduce addiction. The air is so clean you can breathe without guilt. The roads are full of electric cars, and people work less but earn more. This is the world of 2050. A world not of scarcity, but of abundance. Now imagine Rahul suddenly returning to the year 2025. The same city, but everything feels different. The air is heavy, the roads are jammed, and people look exhausted. Electric bills are sky high. Rent eats up the salary the moment it arrives, and even a doctor's fee makes your heart sink. Rahul wonders, technology has advanced so much, then why is life still this hard? Are resources really limited? Or have we created a world of scarcity ourselves? The authors say, scarcity isn't natural, it's chosen. We've built systems, rules, and fears that block progress. We say we need clean energy, but when someone wants to build a wind farm or a solar project, we protest. Not in our area. We say, everyone deserves a home, but when a builder plans affordable housing, we complain. That'll cause traffic and no parking space. We say, we want better healthcare. Yet we've made the system so slow that new medicines take years to reach the market. Ezra Klein and Derek Thompson say, if scarcity is a choice, then abundance can be too. Meaning, if we've chosen scarcity, we can also choose prosperity. And that's the first message of this story. Grow. Growth doesn't just mean GDP or money. It means giving people the space to move forward. Once, America's dream was, go west, young man. Explore, create, build. But now, the world seems afraid of growth. Cities like San Francisco, New York, and Los Angeles, once centers of innovation, are no longer livable. Housing is so expensive that middle-class families are being pushed out. The rich stay in their comfort zones, while everyone else is exhausted from endless commutes. The authors write, "We closed the American frontier, not with walls, but with fear. Fear has become bigger than growth itself. Fear of change, fear of crowds, fear of losing comfort. And this very fear is what's stopping our cities, societies, and dreams from moving ahead. Growth isn't greed, it's gratitude. When we grow, possibilities expand. When growth stops, hope dies. Now comes the second part of the story. Build. Growth is only possible when we learn how to build. Today's biggest problem is that we've become experts in discussion, but amateurs in execution. Every new project gets stuck in paperwork. Every new idea is trapped by some regulation. Environmental laws that were once essential are now blocking clean energy itself. Nuclear power, safe and efficient, has been shut down for decades, simply because we're afraid. The authors say, "We built a society that says no perfectly, but forgot how to say yes. We kept safety, but lost speed. We kept protection, but forgot progress." To build doesn't just mean constructing things. It's the courage and confidence to say, yes, we can. Every generation must rebuild its institutions because systems that once protected us eventually become cages. If we want a future, we have to become builders again. People brave enough to say yes instead of no. Grow and build aren't just two words. They're mindsets. When a society stops growing, its hopes die. When it stops building, its future disappears. That night, Rahul sits on his balcony, watching the city lights shimmer below. He thinks, scarcity was indeed a choice, and if it was a choice, it can be changed. He smiles and whispers softly, "I choose abundance." Because every story begins to change the moment a human says yes instead of no. Rahul sits in a cafe. The cup of coffee in front of him has gone cold, and the laptop screen flashes a headline. Government cancels new clean energy project. Reason stated, local objections. Rahul lets out a small laugh, but there's pain hidden in it. He thinks, local objections, meaning someone didn't like the shadow, someone complained about the noise. Ezra and Derek say that the greatest strength of democracy is that every voice is heard. But now that same system has become our weakness, because every voice has turned into a no. Every proposal faces a petition. Every project gets trapped in a lawsuit. Institutions have become so slow and cautious that progress itself dies in paperwork. The authors write, "We didn't design our government for speed, but we forgot that sometimes speed is survival. In other words, we built the system for stability, but the line between stability and stagnation has vanished." Rahul realizes, governments today are more afraid of acting than of failing. Every policy gets delayed in the name of safety. But Ezra says, a slow government is not a safe government. When systems move so slowly that problems outrun them, people lose trust. And when trust disappears, democracy begins to weaken. That's when people start chasing strong leaders, shortcuts, and populist promises. Rahul writes in his notebook, "True governance is the art of saying yes responsibly. Governance isn't just about making rules. It's about delivering results. We need governments that give permission to innovate, not fear it. Governance must evolve from a no machine into a let's build system." The next day, Rahul visits a science exhibition. There, little kids and young students are proudly showing their inventions. One is building a solar-powered car. Another has made a robot that can guide blind people. and someone else has created a clean water filter made entirely from plastic. Rahul stops at every table, amazed, and each time, one question appears on his face. If there are so many ideas, then why is the world still struggling? Ezra and Derek write, "The world doesn't lack ideas, it lacks permission. We have imagination, but not the space to let it fly. Every scientist has a dream, every startup founder has a vision, but the system stops them before they can move forward. Every new medicine gets stuck waiting for approval. Every invention is trapped between rules and risks. Sometimes fear is necessary, but when fear starts guarding every door, no new door can ever open." Ezra says, "Innovation is not the enemy of safety. It is the architect of a better safety." Meaning, innovation doesn't put us in danger. It finds new ways to make life safer. Rahul looks around. The heroes of the 20th century were builders who created bridges, dams, and highways. But the heroes of the 21st century will be inventors, those who discover new solutions in AI, biotechnology, energy, and space. He realizes that invention isn't just about machines or gadgets. It's a mindset, a way of thinking that constantly asks, "Can this be made better?" At the exhibition, he notices a poster. "Fail fast, learn faster, build forever." Rahul reads it carefully and smiles. That's what innovation truly is, the ability to fall and still move forward. He thinks, maybe that's the real power of the future, the blend of imagination and courage. Now Rahul feels a new kind of clarity. Thinking isn't enough anymore. It's time to act. He scrolls through articles on his laptop. One headline says, "Scientists develop 100-year battery, but approval pending." Another reads, "Biotech startup cures aging cells, yet trials delayed." And a third says, "AI transportation ready, but laws outdated." Rahul smiles. The problem isn't with ideas, it's with deployment. Ezra says, "Invention is imagination. Deployment is courage. To invent is to dream, but to deploy is to be brave. Brave enough to face people's fears, challenge old systems, and say, 'We're ready now.'" Rahul understands. Deployment doesn't just mean launching technology. It means bringing innovation into people's everyday lives. When you build a solar plant, it doesn't just generate power. It brings light to a farmer's home. When you deploy AI in healthcare, it doesn't just process data. It saves a sick child's life. When you build housing, it's not just concrete. It's a family's dignity. Ezra and Derek write, "Abundance is not built in labs. It's built when labs meet life. In other words, abundance is created when science and society move forward together." Years later, Rahul returns to the same city, but now it's unrecognizable. The air is clean, solar panels shine on every rooftop, transport is electric, and every street is green. Healthcare is accessible, education is affordable, and people live more purposeful lives while working less. AI and automation haven't replaced humans. They've freed them from boring, repetitive work. The city no longer feels mechanical. It feels alive, an ecosystem that keeps evolving. Standing on his balcony, Rahul gazes at the skyline and thinks, this wasn't magic. It happened when people dared to deploy instead of just dream. He opens his diary and writes, "Abundance doesn't mean luxury, it means dignity. Every person deserves the essentials for a good life: clean air, affordable housing, reliable healthcare, and the freedom to chase their dreams." He puts down the pen, takes a deep breath, and softly says, "The future won't build itself. We have to deploy it. Then with a smile, he whispers, "I choose abundance." Night falls. Rahul sits on the balcony, looking up at the sky. The same city, the same stars. But now the air is clear, and the streets are calm. In his hands is his old diary, once filled with questions like, why don't we build? Why do we stop? Why are we afraid? He smiles now because he finally knows the answer. Scarcity never truly existed. We just lost our courage. The authors write, abundance is not about endless resources, it's about endless imagination. Rahul now understands. Abundance isn't a destination, it's a mindset. The courage to keep creating, keep improving, and keep believing. He writes the final line in his diary. Abundance isn't luxury, it's possibility. Then he closes his pen, shuts his eyes, and gently whispers, I choose abundance.